hours
tomorrow
and
to get spells.
shortly after that.
Yep.
Are you like a 9 to 5?
I think the contract's still big.
Yes.
It's 6 o'clock, open doors, and start the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Beam. Sebon.
Here.
Osborne.
Here.
Bender.
Here.
Walker.
I need approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve November 16th, 2021's agenda.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 5 is approval of the November 3rd minutes.
Motion to approve the minutes for November 3rd.
Second.
Motion and second, roll call.
Beam. Sebon.
Yes.
Osborne.
Yes.
Bender.
Yes.
Walker.
Yes.
I need approval of the consent agenda.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as posted.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 7 is approval of the resolution calendar.
I'd make a motion to approve the resolution calendar with one question, Mayor.
Second.
I'm gonna ask again, and I did talk to the city clerk, we had a bill last month that I asked specifically, was it the total bill for the Leonard storm drain, and I was told it is. But I see on the bills that we got another $582 that were on that bill. I've been asking for quite a while to have a complete bid in front of us, so that we see what the total cost is, not something that comes in after the fact. It's not the first time I've asked that, so my vote will be no tonight because I've asked that all the time on that.
Did you want an explanation of that, or?
Hey, he explained his, what it is.
I mean, that's the way I just try to portion out the contractor price as minimum as possible, and then I buy the intake. And that's what I've done on probably 35 structures that we've rebuilt. So I didn't think it was new news.
Well, it's not new news, Chris, but my question is, when I ask specifically for a complete bid, total deal, when I'm putting my name on it that I approve it, and something comes in after the fact, that's not, I'm just uncomfortable with that. It's nothing against what you do, but I'm asking if you could have the contractors going forward, put that in on their bid so it's complete and something doesn't come up the next month.
Well, I'm not gonna do that because they'll upcharge that structure when I can buy it cheaper. So I'm gonna save the city money and just purchase it myself.
Okay, can you get me that's your price, 582?
Yeah.
And a contractor can't get it for what the city buys it?
Can't buy concrete for what the city buys it, nothing. We get cheaper prices. So I'm gonna portion them out as much as I can and get as much stuff I can by myself.
Okay, well noted what you said, but that's still my concern on the bid when we approve.
Well, generally when, it wasn't on their bid to buy that intake
Right,
structure,
right.
and generally when you rebuild a structure, you're gonna need, we're gonna need a new structure.
That's why I asked you at the last meeting, was this bid a complete bid? And you said
For
yes, it
Brustern,
is.
yes,
I'm gonna keep my thought of what I have on
that's
complete
fine,
bids as
keep
they
your
come in.
thought. But I can't predict how long it's gonna take us to take it out either. It could take us an hour, it could take us 4 hours. So I can't predict that number either.
That has nothing to do with the price of the grade, who got it. Whether it took you all day or took you 2 hours, I mean,
Right.
I'm not questioning that at all.
Well, this intake was something you installed, right?
No,
Or you gave it to
we
Brustern?
tore it all down, they did a cast in place. And then I purchased, to save us money, purchased the grate myself.
Can you get me the price of what it would be if you weren't buying it?
Yeah,
I'd like to see that, or give me the information where I can just check on it.
Well, then, see, if you would have to buy it, if you were the contractor, you would buy it, and then you would put a percentage over top of that.
Well, we're kind of a fair city here. We treat people pretty right there, so I don't know if they'd really gouge us on that. I'd like to just have dialogue if they will or won't. If they do, then fine, I agree with what you're saying. I'd just like to see the difference. That's all I'm asking.
It's common practice, but that's usually what happens. You take a percentage of the materials and you add that to the materials.
And it didn't really affect, Bruskeron's bid at all.
No, that's why I'm pushing them down and keep them as isolated as possible on what they do to
Chris
save
got
us
it and
money.
had Bruskern install it, that seems pretty straightforward. Anything else? Roll call.
Beam. Beam.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm doing roll call.
okay, I got you.
Okay, Beam,
Yeah,
Sebon,
No.
Osborne,
Yes.
Bender,
Yes.
Walker.
Yes.
Number 8 is a motion to open the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
Proof of publication is on file, no public comments were received.
Do we need a motion to open that public hearing?
That's what they just did.
We had a close.
I mean, do we need it? Both?
No, right now, if there's a need,
Okay,
now you just ask if there's a need for the public.
okay, we'll take public comments. On the special permit for the community center.
Can I talk about that now? Okay. Can you just recap that for me, because I haven't been involved in those conversations, and I'm just wondering, like, is the city paying for some of that community center, or how it, like, I know we've got the plans, but I don't know much more than that, I'm sorry.
yeah, we really haven't discussed this issue very much.
Well, and what we're doing right now is, do you wanna talk about it?
No, let's speak to it, or
Okay.
Doug or one of the group can.
It's a special permit required because it is a residential area. It's zoned residential. So for a community center or a church or a school or what have you, to go into any residential area, then a special permit is required. That's all we're approving, is the special permit to put a community center in a residential area.
So prior to there being nothing there, it was Jewett, so was it zoned differently then?
No, but they had to get a special permit to put Jewett in there as well,
Mhm.
because it's a school.
Mhm.
That's one of the things that is on the list.
So I understand that it's, this agenda item is for, but can we recap what the community center plans are? Just maybe a little bit, because I'm not sure.
yourself the microphone or?
Yes, please, and please state your name and address.
Steve Klawan, 1111 Shones, here in Evansdale, representing the Evansdale Economic Development Corporation. They've been in existence for quite some time, and when they purchased the Jewett property, one of their goals was to see a community center built for the city of Evansdale to help just the betterment of the city. It's a nonprofit group that has no intention of asking for any public money. We're wanting this to be a self-sufficient project. We've recently brought on board Griner, who is here and is helping us with the building project. And so we are now in the stage of where we need to have the special permit so that we can move forward.
That answer your questions?
Well, what is this community project, or what is this community center gonna bring to the people of Evansdale?
Well, there'll be a place for people to go for various events. There could be, now, we don't know, because it's way too soon. We've had conversations with lots of folks. But it could be used partially for a senior center, it could be used for youth. I mean, it kind of depends on how elaborate our building winds up being. But certainly it was intended to be something that the community could use that would be reasonably priced, that would keep events here in town rather than having to go over to Cedar Falls or some other place. And this kind of a building can actually be a drawing card for our town as people are looking to, do I want to relocate here? What are some of the benefits of our community? And I think this is one that could be. Now, we don't have a list of exactly everything, but we are open to talk about a lot of different things, whatever will help the city.
Where are the funds gonna come from then?
Some of the money has already been procured by some duplexes and senior housing that they had sold. We have that, then we also have the cost of the property. So we have a significant amount of money we feel at this point to be able to put down to find funding through a bank or some other institution.
And then you're gonna open it to everybody in Evansdale, or to
There'll
anybody?
be opportunities for anybody that wants to use it, when that time comes, once we're up and running. As soon as we have the permit, then we're gonna start looking at a business model and then securing the funding and moving forward. So, it's been a long time in the planning, and we're just finally getting to the point where we need to move on it.
Who takes care of the property currently? Like mowing, mowing or snow removal or any of that?
EDC.
Well, yeah, the corporation, EEDC, we secure somebody to come and remove snow and do all of that. We're taking care of it ourselves.
Sorry, I
No,
I'm not
it's quite all
following,
right.
so I just have some questions.
That's why we're here.
All right,
I have a
thank you.
couple questions for you too, sir.
Sure.
I seen on the planning and zoning meeting minutes that they said that they wanted a exit on Collins and Brookside. Where exactly is this going to be located on the land? Is it close to Collins? Is it close to Brookside? Why are they recommending they want two outlets for in and out?
The two outlets is just for traffic flow, so that we don't overburden any one spot. So it would just be, you could use one for an in and one for an out or whatever, but as it's used, it would be better to have two ways to get in and out rather than just be burdened with one, and then if something happens, you're stuck in there, so.
Where is it actually going to be located? I mean, I know the property, but where is it going to be actually footprinted in?
I can answer that real quick.
Okay.
You're familiar with coming on Brookside where you turn in and we got that horseshoe turnaround?
Mhm.
To the west of that, be on the western portion of that property. Do you have copies of the elevation shots?
Yeah.
Then what you're showing there, the entrance faces east.
Yeah.
And the western end of it will be 50 yards off the property line, maybe closer to 70 yards off the property line to the west.
Well, I think it'd be a great thing for the community. I just hope that we're priced right. People want to utilize it and make it be a focal point of the town, that it's not outpriced to where senior citizens or can't afford. You don't have any of that kind of structure now because you're too early in the plans.
Too early in the plans. But that was part of our vision, is to have something that would be affordable and something that would be very useful to the community. Because if you price other places, they can be really expensive. And but we wanted to promote Evansdale. It's a great community. I've only been here for almost 6 years, but as an aside, I'm the pastor at Prince of Peace here, Lutheran Church. But this is a great community, and anything that we can do, whether it's this corporation or myself, I encourage people to come and be a part of this community. It's really a wonderful place to live.
Good. Did you have a question, Kelly?
Yes, thank you. Kelly Parker, Marion Street. You said that you're going to secure loans from a bank. How are you planning to pay those back? Donations?
Though, that's not really relevant
To the permit.
to
the permit.
this request. I mean, you're free to answer it. But how, their finances are not relevant to this request at all.
Right, because, I mean, we're going to be self-sufficient. The intention is that we're using no public funds. And so as we develop a business plan, those kinds of details will come out that we may not have specific enough to really benefit your question.
I don't mean to be disrespectful, it's just a question.
Yeah, no.
The community center, in my mind as a citizen, sounds like it belongs to the city of Evansdale. However, it's through this commission. And so my understanding of this is not 100%, obviously. So you're not looking for tax money to pay off these funds?
No.
Okay, just curious.
No. Good question.
I have a business, where the money comes from is important.
Sure.
Well, but it's a private venture, a private nonprofit venture, and that's why, excuse me, asking about their finances is not relevant. But I'm sure they appreciate your interest and probably encourage you to get more interested if you'd like. It's a remarkable story, I think, from buying Jewett School to where they are now is truly remarkable with, as you said, not one penny of tax money. So,
Well, if I understand this right, we have to vote this special permit. It lets people know the city is behind them, that we will let them do it. Then they can go out and look for corporate sponsors, they can go out and look for grants.
Yep.
Until people aren't going to give grants if they think the city's not behind this. And I don't know of too many people that aren't behind it. I know a few that fought it for a while, but it turned out that there is no city dollars invested in EEDC to my knowledge. And I've been following them now for 10 years or so.
Yeah.
So, but that's what this is, to me, this is what this is for. We're gonna give you permission to go ahead and venture. And that says that the city is approving what you're doing. Not that we're gonna give you any money or anything like that.
Well, the property was sold to them pretty reasonably, right? Wasn't it gifted to them or something, or how? So I think that shows that the city is behind them for sure. But, I mean, I see what you're saying, but I think,
but it came from the school board.
yeah, oh,
Yeah.
from the school, sorry.
Yeah.
So that doesn't show city, my bad.
I just had one other question for the committee. I heard a while back that everybody was getting kind of old and didn't know if they were gonna really go forward with a community center. And now if you're,
Who do you call an old statement?
Yeah, that's a relative term.
well, I heard it in public, including me.
They're gonna be waiting for you when you get
Okay, that's great, I'm ready.
Hey Steve, the new 80 is 60.
We're well experienced.
But my question,
Exactly.
my main question I have is it gets running, it's a great thing, and let's say years down the road, everybody's gone. Who's gonna have the entitlement to maintain it and keep it up when we're all gone as a group of people? Do you have a plan and a forecast plan when that happens in 10, 20, 30 years and it's there and it's a great thing? Who's gonna be the ultimate? Is it gonna be the EDC for the life of the building until it comes down or what?
Well, the corporation's going to own it, and the corporation will have a group that'll help to run it, and that's gonna survive long past any of us. So that's the intention, is to set it up so that it will be self-sustaining, self-supporting, whether it's the leadership, whether it's the costs that are incurred just in normal everyday usage.
That's all I need to know.
Yeah.
That's all I need to know.
You're kind of evolved like the city does. The old people move on, young guys come in. We've been doing it for years. It's,
Thanks for the info.
Any other comments? Then I need a motion to close.
motion to close the public hearing.
All in favor?
Aye.
So the next item is the resolution, 6562, approving the special permit.
I make a motion to approve the resolution 6562 approving the community center to move forward with a special permit and construction.
Second.
Have a motion and a second, roll call?
Beam.
Yes.
Sebo.
Yes.
Osborne.
Yes,
Bender.
Yes.
Walker.
Yes.
Great, congratulations.
Thank you, council. We have another
Thank you.
meeting to go to.
Thank you so much.
You too, huh?
Good luck.
Thank you. We will,
Been a long time in the making.
Yeah.
Where we are.
I got it, okay, I know who's all here.
It took me a minute to figure that one out. Oh, you're with them.
They've done fundraisers for this project for 15 years.
Oh, really? Well, I didn't think it was that long,
Yeah.
but I suppose that it's been that long since, because I lived on Bowling, right there, for years, 15 years, so.
Yeah, that's pretty admirable, I think.
Yeah.
So, number 10, a motion to accept the election canvas.
make a motion to accept the election canvas.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The next request is from Public Works Director to pour concrete.
11. You need 11.
Oh,
Your
that's an
request.
important one. Request from the mayor to sign the gas agreement with Mid-American.
Make a motion to approve their request to sign the gas agreement for Eagle Landing.
Second.
And we still have some details we're working out. But as soon as the attorney gives us the go-ahead, I'll sign that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, now number 12. Request from the Public Works Director.
Discussion. Possible action. Isn't that what it is? Make it more of a discussion, possible action. Go ahead. Isn't that what Chris said?
I don't know.
Go ahead.
So to pour the floor for the animal control building, we were talking about delaying that?
Well, with the weather, I mean, I can get it all prepped. This price is solely for the concrete and the rebar. I still have to put all the drains in, we're digging all the footings. I mean, there's a lot of prep work that, my staff's gonna do. But with the weather getting cold like it is, there's a hot water charge that goes in $6 per yard. There is gonna be, if we do wait till spring, I spoke with Brushburn today a little bit, and there is gonna be, I guess the price of concrete's going up, so he said he'd stand behind this price, but he would want an addition for the price of the concrete, which he will provide that documentation. But if not, if we decided to table this, or he said that number is gonna substantially go up.
What size is this for?
30 by 50. Right now, we operate in a 20 by 30, and that's without a vehicle in there. So we're planning on putting our animal control vehicle in this, and plus a washer and dryer, a sink, trying to be a little more self-sufficient with that facility, and then get it out of our building too.
Would that building have climate control in it then?
Yeah, I wanna do air and heat and,
Right now, that building, that space has been, I call it nothing but junk sitting in it. And by closing it in, it gives the animal control officers a place that they control the temperature in there. Right now, it's pretty tough to do. They do a fine job of it, but I think there's some extra expense involved in it that we'll get rid of when they have their own building with their own controls.
I don't think that's, up to this point, we have discussed doing this, I believe that everybody's for it. But we've also asked for a full rundown of a bid on what it costs to do it. And I'm not sure that that size of a building was what anybody, that I've spoken with has envisioned, as having that large of a building there. Especially, that's a large building. And, of course, we wouldn't look at buying concrete when we don't even know what that building's will cost. Have you gone out and gotten any bids on the building, on the construction itself?
well, just for the shell of the building, I've gotten one bid. I reached out to 4 different contractors, and I've only gotten one bid back.
Around
No, not really.
Yeah.
And that's just for the shell, we would still,
You know, I would motion to carry this, and table it until we see those bids and then revisit.
And that's what I asked for a meeting or two ago, to just kind of get, we talked about it, and I said, get some quotes together to see what it might cost, putting it inside the building we got, putting it outside. I wouldn't go with a 30 by 50 size building, and I'll second his motion to put it on hold till we can get quotes to see in front of us what we're looking at, what size we're looking at, and see what the costs are. I mean, we could be talking $50,000 projects here, even with the city doing projects. I went out and looked at Lowe's, a 16 by 24 garage or a 24 by 24 garage, which is 480 square feet. Even if we did something like that, that's plenty big for a building structure. And I just think we need to do a little looking into this instead of just jumping and saying, let's put a slab in and we're gonna size a building to it. I'm not for going forward on anything right now until we have some things in front of us to look at and think about, rather than just jumping, putting the cart ahead of the horse. That's how I feel on it tonight. Nothing against the project, but let's just have everything in front of us when we're gonna say we got the money to do it.
Just what I thought would happen.
that's gonna cost us probably $20,000 more, but, I mean, that's fine, but you gotta understand that our animal control area right now is 20 by 30 without a vehicle in it, and we're full. I
I
mean,
was unaware that the vehicle was gonna be in the building, so I'm hearing some things tonight I was totally unaware of when I made that question at the last meeting. Just see what it might cost, couple options, what it might cost to put something up if we'd agreed to go ahead and put something up. I'm not saying tonight that I'm against it. I'm just saying I wanna see some facts and figures and buildings and sizes or whatever we're thinking. And then we're gonna come down and take a look, and you can give us a little tour, see what you think, where you want it. And then we'll come back to council decision and decide, is that the right thing to do and what are the total costs? I'm not gonna put my name on something that I don't know the cost and just keep adding and adding and adding it. So,
Do you know what the cost of a 24 square garage is today? You have any idea?
I
Are you
can find
talking
out.
wood or metal?
Just over $18,000. We're putting up one right now. It's $18,000 to put up a 24 by 24 garage, which is less room than they have now. They won't be able to get the washer and dryer in there to take care of the stuff. They won't be able to put in the car.
it's extremely important that we get the car in there in case we have a dog in the back, so generally in building 2, if we have a dog that's in the, say we got it like the whole interstate thing, we get those dogs in there, they're runner dogs, and we can get them contained in the back seat, and then we get in there, we shut building 2 down, and then we do our best to get them out of there, but we have got to pull in there. We've gotta be isolated with that vehicle in that building. Otherwise, we might as well stay where we're at.
So I have a motion and a second to table the request. Let's take a vote on that. All in favor of the request to table?
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
opposed?
Aye.
So motion carries, it will be tabled for more information, I assume.
Right, that's all we're asking, have more information in front of us before we decide to spend money.
And Chris, do you think that the smallest, the building that you can get to to include the vehicle is a 30 by 50? Do you think that's?
That's the opening between building 2 and 3.
Oh,
So
yeah,
that's why we were
gotcha.
gonna do that.
Yeah, but what size, cause you can do a single stall garage, but that obviously wouldn't be big enough because you wanna put enough in there for the animals and the,
Like we have 4
Okay.
runs for our dogs. Right now
Yeah.
we're operating in 20 by 30.
yeah, but you want the vehicle in there, it's
Right,
important,
we have,
so
yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out what that size the magic size would be for that,
Well, that's why we thought
20 by
50 by, it'd be comfortable 50 by 30.
50 by 30, okay.
Then we can kind of put the animals in the back and then kind of have a front part with our washer and dryer, our sink, like an evaluation table. Because
Chris, were you thinking about just adding on to the pole barn and doing a pole barn style, or were we talking stick frame, or were we talking metal frame? What type of insulation, because I'm sure you won't go when it insulated, 2 by 6 walls, 2 by 4 walls. Are you talking about how much square footage we're talking. We're all for it, I hear a little animosity, but we are all for it. It's just coming up with the right situation that works for the city. We do not want to be a, per se, dog shelter, with adoptions coming out of our city public works building, and so we're trying to come to a happy medium here that serves the animals well, to where when animals do get taken in, they are taken care of well and are in a good climate condition and don't have to worry about CO2 and all the problems that you've got now, with their house. We all agree with that. I just appreciate it if, we could all work together and come up with something, and possibly something in the very, very near future, to get this thing handled, because, I'm one that, really wants this, I just, you always see with taxpayer money, it really always seems to go from a 24 by 30 building to a 40 by 60, to all of a sudden we're looking at, a monstrosity of a building. And, that's a pretty good sized building. I mean, are you thinking outside runs?
We wouldn't have room for that.
That's a very large building.
And that's the only place it can go. I mean, I'm landlocked, I can't, with the amount of trucks, like in snow removal and stuff, I can't put a building anywhere but that spot. That's why I thought, Bruston's gonna be extremely excited.
We're putting down the wastewater area, couldn't we?
No, that's in a flood zone. I don't know that we can do that.
What about on the end of the buildings down there where it's a grass area where you got just product or whatever lays down there on that back corner? I mean, couldn't something be divided back in there and find out the size and see what it is back there at the very back?
That's a lot smaller, but, that's what a lot of that, I was gonna gravel that back there, and a lot of that stuff that's in that bullpen now, in between those two buildings, that 30 by 50 space, I was gonna bring around to that corner. I mean, it's essentially the only spot that we can, if we're gonna do it, that's the only spot we can do it. But I spoke with Bruskern today, and he's gonna be probably excited that we're not going ahead with this, because the prices are gonna be substantially higher.
Well, it's something we need to take a look at, Chris, because budget time's coming up. We're gonna be looking at the department budgets very carefully this year, see if they gotta be some trimming, some adding, whatever. And that's why I'd like to have stuff in front of us when we're doing that, to say, is this a feasible project right now, or do we have to put it off? I mean, we've got intention to do it. I mean, there's just some variables as a council we have to be looking at too. I mean, I'm not cutting your idea for the project.
No, I mean, I can get you all this pricing, but then I can almost guarantee you that it's gonna go up 10 to 20%.
And that may be what hits us after we have that thought in budget time. I don't know that right now.
It definitely will get us.
We've been looking at the numbers, and the numbers are pretty tight right now, so I wanted to look at stuff before I say I'm gonna spend X amount of dollars or something. We're not against it by no means. I don't want it on record that anybody on this council is against it or sarcasm. I'm just saying we want all the information, and then we will make the appropriate decision which takes care of the need and the budget for the city. That's all we're saying. Nothing more.
Well, it was mainly put on for discussion, not really for approval.
Right.
And then I thought I would run that by you, that, if we could even get it prepped this year and then have him pour it in the spring, but.
How long do you think we have with Bruskern? Maybe that a decision could be made that he would hold this price?
I can talk to him tomorrow.
He's pretty good, he's pretty reasonable. So concrete may go up, but it may not go up.
It will go up.
It may not.
I'd put money on it.
Well, I've watched concrete for
That's
a
like
long
saying
time,
fuel's not going up.
and it doesn't always go up.
I bet it goes up $10. And the pads that I poured, I got them for 128, and they initially quoted me 148. So I bet I wouldn't be surprised if it's 158 next
Yeah.
spring.
Well, I don't think,
Well, my feeling is that if you're ready to do something, get us the numbers. You should be able to get numbers here fairly quickly on that size of building, if that's what you want, but get us the numbers and the bids and a solid, roundabout price.
I got one number back, but there's so much that we were gonna do ourselves. We were gonna insulate it, we were gonna wire it, we were gonna put the interior walls up.
Well, but what we're doing here is we are putting it back on you, bring us the information, and we'll go from there.
Like I said, I can get you the information, but then it's gonna go up 10 to 20% this spring.
Don't worry about that then.
That's fine with me.
yeah, no, I don't think that, asking for more information is unreasonable.
Thank you.
Chris has had a hard time getting bids, on anything at this time of year.
Yeah, I mean, what, you've been asking for bids for 3 months?
Yeah, I mean, it's been an absolute struggle. And we looked into some prefab stuff me and Deanne did, and that seems to be substantially cheaper, but there's a installation prep fee, there's probably a shipping fee, so we gotta dig into that more. But that's kind of what I'm doing, I'm just looking for a shell from a contractor, and then we were gonna try to do as much as we could ourselves, just to save money. And I get a better price on all the materials than, I mean, I don't have to pay taxes on it. So,
Well, I don't know, I assume the council's open to reconsidering this, at the next 2 meetings or 3 meetings, whatever, as the information comes available. So it's just tabled, it's not off the table. So that's where we're at. Anyone else? Did you have a question, or comment?
Oh, I was just gonna say rebar is what's gonna get us, the price of metal is just skyrocketing.
Okay, so that motion is carried.
Yep.
That's tabled. Number 13 is discussion of the Eagles Landing signage. Anybody thought any more about that size-wise?
I'd like to see a good sized sign out there. I know what you said. Did we ever, thought we were pursuing maybe a billboard, lighted billboard out on the highway side? I mean, when they're gonna put in the gas and electric, and the lights are gonna go up, and we have a nice sign out there, people are gonna go by and go, whoa, what's going on over there? And I think it'd be a good bet to check.
The issue is with the sign, to do the billboard, especially electronic one, we need someone to move in first. Because you can't put one up, it has to be within 250 feet of the exit. And it has to go on someone's property. So I've reached out, to a realtor to let him know that as an incentive, because they actually pay that person an annual fee for that. So, and they could get free advertising, and the city could get advertising as well. So we have to wait for that, yeah,
Well, I agree with,
and that's DOT rulings,
I
the
agree with
state.
the mayor. I don't think a 4x8 out on the interstate's gonna do any good at 70 mile an hour. I think it's gonna have to be
Well,
something.
see, and I don't envision it out there. I envision a 4x8 off Evansdale Drive, where, official sign is now,
What size is that one that's there?
about 4x8. And he has 2 of them, one on Evansdale Drive, and the other one is sort of on the ramp, coming on to Evansdale Drive, heading west. That's another about 4x8. And both of those signs are pretty visible, but I gotta admit, I'm focused on them now. So, but I see them pretty regularly, and I think they're pretty visible. Yeah.
No.
Well, then I guess if everybody here feels like official signs are visible, let's get bigger signs.
Well, that would be my thought.
But I think the other thing of it is that he knows what he's doing. And I don't think you're gonna sell lots with bigger signs. But that's just my take on it, so,
What about if we look at, 1 4x12, instead of 2 4x, just 1 4x12, about where official sign is, and then put up, the real colorful sign, the one that runs vertical at the entrance of where, the project starts. There, maybe on that corner, the one that, between McDonald's and Arby's. I'm sure they probably have an easement there.
well, Deanne mentioned that, but, to me, official sign there right behind McDonald's on the edge of our, development is pretty visible for everybody who looks there.
Yeah.
So the issue, as I mentioned before, was with the larger sign, was the resolution on the, plat map was not good at all. So if it was scaled down and, maybe we could even get officials to share on that cost. And what with a 4x12, he'd have a portion of it, we'd have a portion of it, and it would keep it, pretty clear. But, I don't know.
Thank you. We have a semi-trailer down at the sewer plant, we could just paint on the side of it and park it out by the interstate. I could build up some dirt and
That's a great idea.
Save money.
it just sits there. When we need it for mud volleyball,
So
we-
I was a little more old school, I thought maybe we could do a sign, a real sign, but,
You see the one when you're on 20, it says, no more eminent domain?
yeah,
Everybody knows that sign, it's on that semi.
True.
yeah.
Can be
Well,
moved.
we could do where's our old storage yet? Just put it out there, put a banner on something.
It's up to the council. I just thought a nice little sign would be good there, other than just official sign. But he's got 2 of them, so maybe there doesn't need to be any more than that.
Do we need a sign? I mean, not right now in this stage? I mean, could we wait and get a tenant in there, throw it up on a billboard, and then go from there?
If whatever the council wants to do, you could do. But the problem with the billboard is it could be a couple of years.
Before we get one person in?
I hope not.
We hope.
Well,
Yeah,
we got problems with
not
this.
that necessarily, but they would have to accept,
Yeah,
having it on the property.
Just because they build something doesn't mean they're gonna let you put the sign on.
Yeah,
yeah.
so that's my only thought, was something other than official sign.
Food for thought, I think. Food for thought.
Yeah, so it was just a
I mean,
discussion.
my question would be right now, we got the 2 official signs, and I'm not saying you can put the fault on him, but what are those signs getting us out there now? I mean, we're looking at it because it's our property. Most people that are going on that corner coming up aren't thinking at all about that out there until they see, you get those lights up on that development stuff. I think you're gonna start seeing, people are gonna start having some interest, go, what's going on out there? I got lights on the street.
Well, let's be realistic about it. Probably most of the people who are gonna buy out there aren't gonna buy because they saw the sign.
Right.
They saw the multiple listings, or officials contacted him. He does outreach and marketing. So the sign is just kind of the frosting on the cake, and, my thought is that, I really like this sign with the eagle on it. It just gave us an identity. It wasn't necessarily to generate tons of business, but it creates an identity. Eagles Landing, City of Evansdale, people know what it's about.
I guess my thought really is kind of in conjunction with yours, it's kind of, or Mayor, I feel that, that we keep putting things on hold and nothing's ever gonna happen. And, I like the Eagle sign, and I think that something does need to be there, around McDonald's and Arby's, as we have people coming in and off the highway. And my feeling is that, we should probably, at least get two. It's not gonna kill us. And at least then we're showing that we've got interest in it ourselves, instead of here's a property and officials isn't really pushing it, extremely hard. And I think that we need to start doing some other things to possibly market the property as well.
What would it cost to get a billboard put up on the, not build a billboard, to get an ad on the 4 billboards that are already there on Eagle Lake?
I don't know that we've ever looked at costs.
Gotta be cheaper than building the whole thing. And it still reads as you come in on the
Well,
highway.
I doubt it would be cheaper than the sign I'm kind of proposing.
No, we're talking about a billboard, like Steve was talking out there, and
Yeah.
that size over there, putting one up on that would be cheaper than building a electronic billboard sign of those sizes.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking electronic, I was thinking of a plain billboard with the lights on top like you see.
Well,
in
that's,
the-
don't it, well, I guess electronic would mean it changes. I was thinking of lights, electric on it.
I don't know, that's, if we could definitely look at what rental.
It's read by hundreds of people going, or thousands of people going by those signs.
So do you imagine like there would be a big arrow pointing to Eagles Landing?
Is there gonna be one when it's on the other side?
Well, it's
You still got a line of trees.
Yeah. Well, the one that Deanne had talked to, was it Lamar Advertising, would be similar to the ones on Eagles Lake there. And they would pay for it all and pay the property owner a certain amount every year, and possibly give the city space on that
Yeah,
at
I
lower
remember you
rates.
talking about that, but
So-
again, we have to get somebody to build that will agree to put the sign on the property.
That's the catch. But, advertising on the existing billboard is not a bad idea. We could take a look at that.
I mean, they're all there and I've seen them 100 times, but every time I come in on that road, I still read every one of them. I mean,
Do you?
yeah, just because they're there, it's something to do. I mean, after you've been on the
Are you
highway for a
hearing
long
this,
time.
Mike? He's not even paying attention to his wife. He's looking at billboards.
My wife drives.
Oh, okay. That was quick, Gene, that was quick. So we have a billboard down here on Lafayette that generates money for the city. So maybe we'll be able to work out a deal with them.
Just a thought.
Yeah, no, that's. Okay. So, that's really my thoughts on the sign. I guess we can wait and see what a billboard costs and stuff.
I had a question on that property, are we gonna, I know we've talked about this many times, but get somebody else involved to promote that area out there? I mean, I drove around this last weekend, and Officials has got so much prime property in Waterloo and Cedar Falls and stuff. And when you look on his page, his webpage, we're like the 12th or 13th page down of developments. And now it's been quite a while again, and I don't see him really coming forward. And I'm not saying it's all his fault, but I think we need to start getting creative and look at some other venues to do, like, I think I mentioned it once a while back. Maybe get a portfolio together on the city's behalf and send out to some national people that, I think a good source, I mean, I'd be willing to help or assist, get a hold of, what's the fellow's name that owns the Birch Cabinet? He's quite an entrepreneur, Gary Birch. Ask him how are some ins and outs, how to make something happen, what we're trying to do out there. He's got the amusement park going. I mean, we need to be talking to some more people instead. We're like in a groove. We don't want to get out of the groove, and I don't get it.
Well, I mean, I hear what you're saying, and I think it's certainly valid, but, the project's just underway. So it's not like the city's spinning their wheels. We're just getting started. And I think we all had hoped there'd be a line to buy property. But we couldn't have got a worse time to do it. There's so many things against us right now.
In all respect, I think Gary Birch's business is a little bit different than what we're looking for. He has built his buildings and stuff with his money. His big thing is selling his product, and he has built his name over 40 years. And when he went into this new project, he had all kinds of people come helping him. But I think he's in a different type of business than what we're looking for personally. Doesn't mean you can't ask him, but
I
he's
think-
not trying to sell property. He's trying to buy property and put something on it. So it's-
I think I hear Steve hoping that we get some of that entrepreneurial magic from him.
Yeah, rub his head.
Probably got more he's got more knowledge than any of us sitting here.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But I mean, his real knowledge is in a different direction, but that don't mean he can't put you in contact with people. You know. And Gary is a super guy. I've known him probably 60 years, since he was real young.
Yeah. So the other thing of it is that he donated, I don't remember exactly what it was, 40 acres, 20 acres to the city of Waterloo, right there at Shaw's.
Yeah.
So he's probably gonna be reluctant to help competition in a way.
I'd heard that might be a camping ground.
Yeah.
Owned by the city of Waterloo.
Are you serious?
I can't imagine he would go along with that since he's already got one, but
KOA,
yeah.
a lot of people can't afford it.
Well, yeah, so, they turned down another campground a little farther out the county property for that reason. Anyway, so, the sign, are we just kind of tabling that for now?
Well, I
It sounds
mean, what was
like
it,
it.
$1,500 for the one you wanted?
Well, that was the 8x12, and she didn't think that would work
Right.
You know,
because of the resolution. And even the other sign, he was a little cheaper, but I don't know how he wouldn't have the same problem. He's got a plat map there.
You talk about the resolution onto it, and I understand what you're saying. He can't print his little picture onto that big thing. How do they put the big billboards up?
Well, no, they
It can be done,
they
it's
can
just
do
he
that.
can't do it.
No, that's not what they're saying. They can do it. But when you blow those pictures up like that, you lose detail.
I understand that.
So maybe, 200 feet back, that detail isn't that important. But she had included on that one bid, one of the proposals, a little square of the plat map. So that was blown up to what an 8x12 would look like. So up close, when you look at that, it looks pretty bad. And that's all she was saying, that, and I've had her do other work on historical photos for me. And that's the first thing they caution you about.
Yeah.
When they take an 8x5 and blow it up to 3x2 foot, you're gonna lose resolution. So that's all she was saying. She wanted to make sure that if the city used her services, she wanted everybody satisfied. And she wasn't sure that a large sign like that would be satisfactory. So,
Do you wanna get a quote for a 4x8?
I had asked, but it was just the other day, and so they haven't had time to respond, but, so I can't even tell you an exact cost on that.
Here would be the flip side of that, Dick. If you would put up a 12 like Steve was talking about, blow the eagle up in that part to a 4x8. She says she can do that. Then the next 4 bay, the center part of that picture, blow that up and then go down to the next 4 bay. They're gonna be wrapped anyway. 3 individual boards. put
Well,
together, wrapped.
she is actually proposing 3 individual boards.
Mhm. So each one of the sections would only, the only reason I'm saying that is my wife is a professional photographer. We do this all the time.
Mhm.
And sometimes we have to,
Yeah.
when you get to a certain point, you have to divide it. Either that or you have to go back and take a different type of picture.
And the 4x12, or 8x12, I guess it was actually, was the biggest one that I had gotten a price on. Was the one that was 3 panels.
Mm-hmm,
That was this one.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw it the other day.
So, probably the Eagle wouldn't be that bad. It's just the plat map from Bolton Mink. Now, we had talked about seeing if they could do anything different, but I'm sure they'd have the same problem.
And they charge 3 times as much.
Do what?
They charge 3 times as much to mess around with something.
No,
I think we need to check into the Billboard thing, see if we could get a rental thing, like Gene said. If we could get on that at all, to have, however you can do it, maybe you can't, maybe those are locked in for good, but they change. And see if we could get on that out there on the highway. And I think that would be the best money spent overall, it's gonna be the largest.
okay.
Wouldn't we still want to have some type of signage at the entrance of the project anyway?
Well, I think we're talking about that too, Charlie. I mean, I don't think that's off the table.
Because I'm just thinking, let's at least do one to say what the project is right there at the entrance.
Can we do it on the easement in front of McDonald's or Arby's? Would we have a legal right to?
Right there.
Well, I'm not sure about that on Doris.
Yeah.
Well,
On the corner,
yeah, well, probably not on the corner.
like right in front of where our traffic control box is.
Boy, I don't know, but I wouldn't guess so.
Okay.
But I guess we're the city, so maybe we could, but, it might violate.
Might violate our ordinances.
Yeah, might violate.
Yeah.
I guess, so I was actually thinking this way from
Closer
that
to the
intersection.
interstate, you were thinking.
Yeah. Where official saying is that we would take his off and put ours up there.
Or put it next to it,
Yeah,
on top of it.
I think
Because-
that makes a lot of sense on,
Put a higher
having
up.
a sign down on the corner of Doris. You come off the interstate, you're ramped off, you're coming down. A lot of people go both ways on that interstate. And we had a nice sign there on the interchange corner of Doris saying, coming or here, Eagles Landing, City of Evansdale, the picture like you got, and have an arrow going that way to the property. I think that'd be, there's zillions of people that turn in there daily.
yeah, but it seemed like it could be a little confusing. Where official sign is now, you pretty much know that it's the land behind it. That's pretty clear cut. But I don't know.
Okay, I think we're all in agreement that we get a sign. Where we put it, who knows right now, but could we just, agree on a sign? Like a taller, Eagle one or the other one, and then, do we have to know where to put it right now?
Well, we need to find out if we can put it down there on Doris and then interchange. Are we legally got a problem why we can't? I don't know.
Well, I don't know, it's gotta be mounted on 2 4x4s. So that's pretty unwieldy on that intersection, it seems to me. But, pretty soon then McDonald's will say, well, can we put up one of those?
You might run into trouble with the state too.
This is really beating it to death on it either, because they're gonna be a part of Eagles Landing. The coming out of Evansdale Drive home to Doris is gonna be,
all I thought is if the sign was on the property itself, rather than a block away, it would be easier to identify what we're talking about there. We can do some more research.
I mean, what you're saying, I mean, I don't have a problem if you want to do that Eagle thing up where his is there, the same fishes if you want. But I think if we could get down on the corner area where we're going with the same kind of nice sign, Eagles Landing, I mean, it's the mindset.
Well, I could see one at the, entry.
Yeah.
Is that where we're talking? Or are you talking back on the intersection?
I was talking back on the intersection.
Yeah.
But pointing, we'd have to have two then, one at the entry, one pointing.
Right. I mean, I think it would be a plus to, people are gonna see
The closer to that intersection, the more
visible,
prevalent the sign's gonna be.
right?
Well, then I guess if that's our homework assignment, if everybody can drive out there and visualize signs, it would help, I guess. But I think we'll follow up on the billboard idea, Gene, and
It'd be the easiest to get done right away, probably. We'll soon know.
yeah,
Yeah,
we,
do we actually have to put that billboard on somebody, you talked about, if it has to go with somebody's line type thing? Can we not allocate an easement where that sign would sit and then it wouldn't be dependent on somebody's line?
well, it was, in my understanding, a state regulation that it had to be on private property.
Okay.
So, no, I mean, certainly if we could put it on city property, I think we would jump at that.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get a waiver, or we can get a hold of DOT and tell them what we're doing, and reconvene. If they say no, there's a law or a regulation or a code.
Well, he was in, Deanne had contacted that sales rep. Great guy and very helpful. But he seemed to like shoot down the idea that we could just put it on city property pretty quickly, I thought, didn't you?
Yeah, and he's aware of the law, just like we are with our own ordinance.
Hell, we
He's
could put
aware
it
with the state.
right near the retention pond. I mean, but that didn't seem to fly with him.
We could call it a community park.
Well, that's what we're gonna do.
No, I mean,
Or putting a trail in there too.
Be a portion of that park.
Yeah.
Why don't you just put it up and beg forgiveness?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so public discussion.
Kelly Parker, Marion Street. I was wondering if all of us could see the election canvas from, number 10. I'd really be curious to see what that is. And, also I would really love to learn more about the TIF districts that Evansdale has. I don't know if you have like a document that describes the TIF districts of Evansdale, but just for the public to educate themselves on how we're doing those.
Both of your items are on our website.
Oh, can you help me find them? I have poked around the website a little bit.
Were you able to find the agenda?
Yes, I can find those.
And you just click on it and it takes you right to the canvas?
Also to the TIF district information.
That's under resources, under maps. There's a TIF map on there.
Maybe this is something I can talk to you after the meeting about.
That'd be
I can
fun.
pull it up on my phone.
Okay.
Thank you, I'd really appreciate that.
Well, and we have about 4 or 5.
TIF districts?
Yeah.
I can't wait to learn more about those.
Oh, anybody else? I really don't have any mayor's report. Council?
What's going on in Bright Street? Why are we not moving now? We made a concession, give half the money back. Why are we don't see progress in the last couple of weeks?
I don't know. I turned it over to Chris.
The 29th.
29th, they're gonna take it down.
29th, so everything should be done by December 1st. It was a compromise, he had a truck go down, so I told him that, no later than the 29th. I wanted it down this month, so. And I don't know that, have we cut him his check back yet? No, I didn't figure we'd do that till after it was done, right? So,
So one takeaway from this, Deanne and I were talking about this, is what an expensive proposition it is for the city. Lesson learned. Anything else?
Motion to adjourn. Second.
We're adjourned.
Sorry.